Hi everyone, and welcome back to Nick's Reading Corner. We're going to be doing another quick review here, or book discussion, about the Conviction series by Glynn Stewart. First book being, of course, Conviction. There we go. And so it's so far right now, it's a 5-book series. It's a sci-fi series, military sci-fi. And I've been on a military sci-fi kick lately, so now I'll be review. There will be more discussions to come. So anyway, so we have the first book is Conviction by Glynn Stewart, and then we have Deception, and followed by Fortitude, and let's see, Equilibrium, it's book 4, and then lastly we have Huntress, book 5 of the series. And if I'm not mistaken, this book just came out this year too, in 2022. Okay, so this is a military sci-fi series, and it follows a fighter pilot from a system called Apollo. And when we join her, she's fleeing from her home system, Apollo, after a war between the system Apollo and another system called the Kaiserreich. And so she's fleeing from her homeworld because a lot of her squadron mates were being mysteriously killed off. And so she's like, oh my God, I need to get the heck out of here. So her last commanding officer it kind of sent her some vague instructions. Hey, you need to get out to this new system called Redwood. And so we find her. We join her on the last leg of that journey, trying to escape from Apollo to Redwood because of this death mark that she has over her head. And these books, they're not super long. They're quite short, so they're great quick reads. They're more. These books are rather reminiscent of great popcorn, summer blockbuster popcorn type books. That's how I like to kind of term them. It's like you kind of sit down, with your favorite snack, your favorite drink. And you just kind of have a quick page turning read. So this is it's a great military sci-fi series. The last book, Huntress, left us on a bit of a cliffhanger. Not necessarily a cliffhanger, but it kind of left us hanging. The ending. I won't kind of get into any specific details. But it left us on a bit of a cliffhanger. It's like, okay, what's going to happen next? Now, I don't know if the author is planning on putting out a 6th book. I certainly hope so, because he left quite a bit open. So I would love to read the 6th book. Hopefully, book 6 is the last book. But hey, the more the merrier. So let's see. Overall, it's a good series, but I would have appreciated kind of more of a hearty book, I guess, for lack of a better term here. Just kind of looking at my notes, it's for instance, what I mean by more is, for instance, I would have liked the world itself of this science fiction series to be kind of fleshed out a little bit more. It's all kind of we kind of hang out in Redwood. And there's discussions about Apollo and the Kaiserreich. And there's also some other systems that we go to throughout the series, which is cool. We get to be introduced to some more interesting areas. But but it's just like the world it's just, I would have liked to be delved a little bit deeper for the series as far as the world goes. And I would have also liked some more details. So go into a little bit more depth, as far as these stories go. That would have been great. And also the character development. The character development was decent. It wasn't anything to write home about. And it's just like, okay, come on, let's have let's have some more character development. Let's have some more interactions here. And the character development was decent. It was there. It's just kind of like, okay, like a little bit more. Let's take it to the next level. And okay, so also the action, whenever we would have a space battle, it was more kind of painted in broad strokes. I guess our author here was trying to keep it kind of vague so that you could sit there and kind of imagine it. But then sometimes you want to give a little bit more, and then that way you could fully appreciate the series. It's like you kind of have a faint sketch in these space battles of what's going on, and I would have really enjoyed more detailed descriptions of what's going on in these space battles. And another kind of gripe, not necessarily gripe, but it's more kind of like, wow, okay, I would have liked more, is our big scary bad guys in the entire series. Our big scary bad guys is a group, is this big giant organization called Equilibrium. And they are setting out to, they have their own ideas of how the galaxy should be set up and how stability is obtained. And they're supposed to be this very vast, powerful, and all-knowing organization that's full of really smart and talented people. But most of the time, their lackeys were inept. What is it? Our main character, Kira, Major Kira, she, she's this really brilliant, very smart tactician, and she knows how to take care of business and kick butt. Kick butt and take names. So I get that she can just sit there and wipe the floor with everyone, but every time that we would encounter these opponents, these Equilibrium opponents, they're the puppet masters. They're sitting there. They're trying to change the events of what's going on in the entire galaxy, and every time that Kira encounters them, we'll get kind of kicked around a little bit, but then, it's kind of like, oh, it's like, hey, maybe one or two pages of getting beat up a little bit, and then it's like Kira will have a sudden idea, oh, this is how we beat them, and then she just turns around, and they flawlessly, oh well, not flawlessly, but they're able to take care of business and just kick butt and just completely destroy Equilibrium. In almost every encounter, it seems like. It's just like, it seems like she's just, she can win no matter what, no matter the odds. But still, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but still, if you're able to kind of suspend your disbelief a little bit, that's not a big deal, but still it's kind of like, come on, this isn't really a challenge for her. I know she can, like, come on, author, let's give her more of a challenge, and show some more defeats, some more trials and tribulations, and yeah, it just seems like a win was always would always be our protagonists were always able to pull a win out of the basket, no matter what, no matter the odds. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, come on, let's get some grit in there too. And also, lastly, we really didn't, at least me personally, I really didn't feel any danger for our heroes, especially in the later books. At least for our main core protagonists, I really felt no fear for them. I didn't feel like they were in any real danger. And, it's just, so it kind of circles back to the what I was discussing earlier, and it was like I would have liked to see some more danger. Like I was reading book 5, or book 5, Huntress, and I was just kind of sitting there. It's like and I gotten to the point where I was just like, okay, they're gonna win. There's no question they're gonna win. It's just how, and it's almost, I wouldn't necessarily say boring, because I did just blaze through this book, this entire series, in fact. But it just felt like it wasn't as nail biting as it could have been. Just felt that it could have been more nail biting. Okay, so despite me kind of sitting there beating up on this book, I felt that it was still a great series nonetheless. Really fun to read, real page turner. And despite all these some minor issues, character develop would have, at least to me, I would have liked to see some more character development, some more world building, some more danger thrown at our core heroes. And but despite these problems, like I said, real fun read, really great. It felt like this was, no, well, it felt like this was a real world kind of place, but I felt like it could stand to be improved. It could stand to be improved, like most things. So I have to say that I want to give this series 4 stars. It was a fun, entertaining. It wasn't a chore to read through. While there wasn't enough character development for my taste, it was there. The world building was there. Just not. I just wanted more. I was like, it was like after reading book 5, I felt like I was still hungry for more in this series, and so kind of circling around. Okay, so what's my rating? 4 stars. Very strong. A lot of fun to read. It wasn't 5-star worthy, in my opinion, but it wasn't 3-star. It wasn't boring. It wasn't monotonous. It was right there. 4 stars. Very strong, fun read. And I should mention that, so our hero, our main hero, Kira, who we follow through all 5 books, she arrives at Redwood to try and pick up the pieces. All of her squad, all of her pilots in her squadron, she's trying to get to come to Redwood. And so she when she arrives, she's trying to pick up the pieces. There's assassins and she's having to figure out what's going to happen next. And oh my gosh, what's going on? So it's very, very well done. I don't want to sit here and give any spoilers. So, so it's definitely worth a read, fun read, and so anyway, have any of you ever read this series or anything by this particular author, Glynn Stewart? What did you think about these books? Is there room for improvement, or do you agree, or do you disagree with me? Do you think this is 5-star material? Let me know down in the comments. I would love to have a discussion with you down in the comments on what you think about this particular series and about this particular author, and if it's truly worth investigating further. So anyway, I hope to hear from you soon, and I will be seeing you in the next episode of Nick's Reading Corner.